I think this just so we saw two examples of people who are willing to put their own viewers, their sub count, whatever, above the truth. And we saw somebody who I've long looked up to actually in this space, and somebody who was probably the first bread tuber that I actually developed a media routine consuming, and that's Kyle Kulinski over at Secular Talk. And and as a founder of the Justice Democrats, you would think that he would have the most incentive to continue to deny the reality that this is a failed strategy, like we talked about a few days ago in our stream. No, ever since the proof has been in the pudding, he seems to have come out and called people out, and he does so quite pointedly in this clip we're about to watch.
Copy the Tea Party approach. So it should be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ro Khanna, Rashida Tlaib, Pramila Jayapal, Mark Pocan, Raul Grajava. There should be a block, Ilhan Omar, of like a dozen left-wing Congress people who are willing to hold bills hostage and who are willing to play, aggressive politics, who are willing to block things when things need to be blocked, who are willing to band together and build coalition and take out the flamethrower when necessary to get people to fall in line. You would be so much more effective if you actually were principled and unapologetic and aggressive on issues where you can build that coalition and hold that coalition. But they seem fundamentally incapable of mounting a public pressure campaign. They seem fundamentally incapable of taking on the fights that need to be, taken head on. And the result is, if you're not going to act like the Tea Party and have a coalition that's aggressive and direct in blocking bills and pushing your own bills, and you're not going to do bipartisanship on your terms and, build bridges on specific issues, well, what's left? What's left is you rank, 230 out of 240 or something like that? You're going to rank 230 out of 240, and none of your stuff's even going to get a committee hearing. Definitely none of this stuff is going to be voted on. None of it's going to become law. So I just don't think she's good at the job of legislating. I don't. Now, again, some of that, to be fair, is because by definition, a lot of the stuff that she would focus on, that she would care about, like, for example, I think the first bill she proposed was limiting the interest rate, like predatory interest rates. I think it made it so that nobody could charge more than 12% interest, right? And, you have payday loan industry sharks who charge 200% interest. And so it would ban loan sharking effectively. It would ban predatory payday loans. And it would go after big financial institutions as well and limit the amount of interest they could charge. So yes, you can make the argument Congress is never going to go for that because they're so bought and owned by financial industries that they're not going to go along with an idea that's so good for the people and so bad for their donors. So yes, I want to be clear. There is truth in that criticism that her agenda, by definition, is harder to get through because it's for the people, and Congress is not for the people. I think that's true. But I also think, there's a reason why Bernie Sanders was way more effective at getting stuff done. And do an apples to apples comparison. However, take the same time period for Bernie Sanders, and he got a lot more accomplished. Number one, they called him the Amendment King. He always managed to get amendments into unrelated bills that were phenomenal for the people. Number two, he worked with Ron Paul on a number of things that were successful. That's the libertarian right and the populist left working together. He worked with Mike Lee on the thing involving Yemen. He's similar ideology to her, but he actually gets shit done. So he's just better at playing the game of legislating. And I just don't think she's that good at it. Some of it's not her fault, but some of it is her fault. And I honestly, I think it's really sad. So the left needs to get their act together. And, I'm partly to blame for this because when we co-founded Justice Democrats, I naively thought if you just get people in positions of power who agree on the policy stuff, they're there for Medicare for all, they're there for free college, they're there for living wage, they're there for ending the wars, they're there for ending the drug war, so on and so forth, that's it. Everything else would take care of itself. No, it turns out there's a lot more that goes into it. They need to be right on the policy, but then they need to be intelligent strategically, and they need to be leaders with phenomenal backbone that's incredibly rare. And so if you don't have those second pieces of it, then what do you have at the end of the day? somebody in power who's ineffective but is a phenomenal tweeter. Not going to get much done. And now we know empirically that's correct.
Yeah, and I think that the first thing that I want to say about that is, what a good display of integrity from Kyle right there, owning up to his past misjudgment. That's all you can ask from people, right? Like, when you hold people's feet to the fire, what you're asking is for accountability, for people to be like, oh, I was wrong about this in the past, and now I'm, this is the new evidence that I have now, right? Like, when the facts change, so do I, right? That's the kind of mentality that we all want to build on the left. And, for a while, I was with Kyle and I think Gavin and, Joy, I don't know how much you bought into the squad at one point, but back, certainly under Trump, it felt inspiring and like one beacon of light that could possibly get something positive done, if nothing. And it seems like the most that it did was it brewed a lot of excitement for the Bernie campaign. And then when the Bernie campaign burned out, it became a completely lost cause. The energy fragmented there, and that's the big takeaway that we have to have, guys, is that we can't put our eggs in the electoral basket, in the sense that we can't get all behind one guy, especially not a guy that's in his fucking 70s. Okay. Yep. That's not building a movement necessarily effectively. Right. Because now we're all disparate and we don't have one guy to get behind. And I think that's where we have to look now, because now we don't even have a squad, quote unquote, to get behind. We just have ourselves again, which is familiar territory. For the left. It's depressing.
Yeah, she thought she was going to ride that Bernie momentum upwards in her career, become VP maybe, or get a spot in the administration. But now that momentum upwards for her career no longer exists, just like how it no longer exists for David Dole and Emma Vigeland, they're going to change their tune to accommodate it to the crowd that they can capitalize off of by being associated with. And that right now is the Joe Biden establishment Democrat crowd. It's that simple.
Well, here, we didn't touch on the donations, but the thing is, I'm in Pennsylvania. I know Connor Lamb. He's one of the ones she donated to. He's, Connor Lamb. Dude literally has him shooting rifles in his freaking campaign video. He does not have a progressive molecule in his body. He
doesn't support Medicare for all, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, he said he doesn't support Medicare for all, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he doesn't
guess
support
what?
The Green New Deal.
82% of the people she donated to do not support Medicare for all or Green New Deal.
Yeah, she's financing her own fucking opposition. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's the thing. And why did she donate to these people? Because they're up against Republicans. I don't give a flaming fuck.
She would have donated to Joe Crowley.
Republicans.
She would have donated to Joe Crowley.
You have a choice of who you vote for. That is your own personal business. I don't give a shit. I'm not even going to ask. I don't care. But when you physically endorse someone or you give them money, you're putting your stamp of approval on them with your name. So the fact that she gave them money, that means I associate with them. I roll with what they stand for. That's what that means. So she stands with people like Connor Lamb, and Connor Lamb is giving the money back. He doesn't even want it.
They don't even want to be associated with her. Yeah. And it's crazy too, because we're talking about like, oh, she's financing her opposition and all that stuff because these people don't actually support Medicare for all. I just remembered this shit. I don't even think AOC fucking supports Medicare for all. Remember this story? That leaked during the campaign. She conceded that Sanders may have to compromise on Medicare for all and actually basically just do a public option, which Bernie himself had to come out and be like, wait, what are you talking about? That's bullshit. Yeah. That's not my plan. So she's actually been revealing her, real feelings on this issue for a while, which is, again, she wanted to ride the momentum of the campaign that clearly had the most youth support, the most online support. But she's not serious about these fucking policies. It's all been a grift. It's all been a fucking grift.
Let's think about this. In the primaries last year, she did a Medicare for All documentary with Paula Jean Swearengin and Cori Bush. She did not endorse either one of those women. Strong, progressive women who have a huge support system.
After Cori Bush did it on her fucking own, she was like, this is my sister. This is my best friend. We're going to go crush it in Congress together. It's like, go fuck yourself. You couldn't decide that you were going to endorse her? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, like, I mean, that's the kind of bullshit that's the kind of stuff that's initially started to frustrate me. But I was like, Zach, just you're being over dramatic. You're getting too emotional about these things. You have to be a pragmatist. And now I'm like, fuck this. My nose was right, and I was correct, and I feel ashamed that I didn't trust my instincts more sooner. Because I kept trying to be like,
to believe.
I wanted to believe, but I also wanted to believe that I was going to call out this bullshit as soon as I noticed it. And I mean, I have to hold myself accountable and be like, guys, you know, I thought that she was going to turn around. I was like, you know, maybe she's like figuring something out. No, she's not going to turn it around.
It was the real
a celebrity.
Yeah,
That's
and the real
she is a celebrity. She was on Vogue. She is beautiful and young, and you know, she set records as, you know, a young Latina and, you know, elected, and she beat out you know, a shill, all of these things. She is a celebrity. When she goes on Twitter, 9 out of 10 posts are talking about Republicans who are attacking her, and she's clapping back. How about you put some freaking policy on your Twitter page? Because what it comes down to is when you have 12 million followers, you alone have that ability to say, you know what? Rise up, general fucking strike, everyone in the streets, or call your lawmakers. You have so much power. So much power, not just legislatively.
And she doesn't even have legislative power. She can't get shit done. She's the worst. She's like within the, you know, percentile of the least effective legislator. So if you can't get anything done legislatively, when is the light switch going to turn on your head that maybe you can use your 12 million fucking Twitter followers to do something productive? I mean, that's what I would have figured out. But I'm an inept, fucking incompetent legislator. Maybe I can use my celebrity and my fucking social media following to actually bring attention to issues like I did under Donald Trump. Again, she understands this logic. She did it under Trump constantly.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
did you get that meme I sent you, Gavin?
Oh shit! Did you email it or
it's in Google Hangouts? It was something that I wanted to end with for our viewers. A little bit of an old school throwback meme that I inked a little bit earlier in the live stream for us to go out on. Grifters looking for arguments to defend AOC. This is what you're going to see a lot of. You're going to see a lot of these faces.